Hey everybody, it is the Last Raider. We are back again with another video. Please be sure to check and make sure that you are subscribed and still subscribed if you think you've already subbed to the channel, because YouTube is removing people right now. And this is going to be probably the second video today, because I saw this on Twitter and I'm like, hey, you know, I need to talk about this. And it has to do with the Trump supporters running Biden out of Texas. I mean, Texas still has ornery people in it. You just look, if you're going to mess with Texas, you need to have all your ducks in a row and have a whole lot of ammunition. It's amazing to me that the guy that wants gun control and hates guns has decided to screw with Texas at the moment. That sounds like a bad idea. But anyway, here we have the video, and I plan on doing a video breakdown of this. We're going to watch the video go through. It's only 35 seconds. And this has to do with the SUV that slammed into a Trump supporter, and they have. They're the ones at fault here in this entire situation. And I'll explain what you do if what they were saying was actually true, what you should do if the Trump supporter was the aggressor in this particular case. But we're going to watch this video, and then as we go, so you can see what we're talking about here, because this is the video that's come out that actually videotaped somewhat of what happened. Now, we only get a part of it, but judging from what's happening and some video forensics that I'm going to throw out there, you're going to see it's probably not the Trump supporter that's at fault here. So here we go. Now, we're going to go back here, and you're going to see a little bit, yeah, there it is. See a little bit of smoke where that tire has wear against it. And you'll notice something here that I'm going to mention. You're going to notice that the Trump supporter does not occupy two lanes at any point. So here we go with the whole, let me get this to the right point here. All right. So if you look at the road here, there's a thing in the road known as wear lines. That's where your tires are normally at. It pushes down the road, pulls off small amounts of the road at a time. Sometimes the oil, sometimes the gravel comes loose. Anything that's there. And so as cars travel over this area, hitting it and pressing it down and wearing into it, creates these wear lines. You'll notice on the road, you'll notice there's like a light colored section and then there's a dark colored section. If you look at the position of where the pickup truck is on here, not the one to the left, but the one to the right here, behind the SUV, and then you compare where it's lined to the truck that's in front of the Biden bus up here, you'll notice that both of them, their tires are inside that wear line, meaning they're right at about the optimal zone of where you're supposed to be. This is actually a smaller pickup truck, so it's actually not as wide as a regular larger vehicle, or at least the maximum size you can put into a lane. And so they're actually kind of over a little bit to the left, or over to the right of the road. Now, this is a 3-lane highway, mind you, which has 3 individual lanes. You got a slow lane, fast lane, and faster lane for those who just, if you need an explanation for it, that's the explanation I'm going to give you right now. Now, here's the thing. If you look at the Biden supporter, and I can't zoom in because this is video, but if you look at the Biden supporter here, or the SUV that got into it with the truck, you'll notice that their tires are in the black part, or in the darker part of the road, where that would be considered the mid area. Now, they're driving an SUV that's slightly, I would probably say, may have another 3-4 inches of width over on this pickup that we're looking at and using as a guide, the back one. And because of that, you have to realize if your tires are sitting there in that middle lane, you are effectively sitting in half of the area where your car is supposed to be at. Meaning the other half of their vehicle is over into the third lane into the slow lane, basically, where this other truck is occupying, where this other larger truck is at. And my guess here is that they were trying to push or intimidate the truck to get them to run them off the road. I don't know who thought this was a good idea. This guy is just, let me explain something. This guy is just a few IQ points above Antifa members. All right, they try to stop vehicles with their 90-pound bodies. This guy at least got up to about the 1,500 weight class before trying to take on a 2-ton pickup. Okay, just No, we're not saying they're smart. We're not saying they're smart. I'm saying they're smarter than Antifa. Mind you, this is a group of people who think that Trump goes around killing people, killing blacks for the fun of it. Uh, they're only slightly. This guy's only slightly smarter than a bunch of dumb college students with no life experience. By the way, as we continue here, continuing on. Now I want to get this one. Now you see right here. This part here is very important because you see the Trump supporter pushing them back out. If you look, let me see if I can push this back just a tad here. I may have totally effed up. You see the lane that we're occupying. There's probably about 2 feet of shoulder over there. So the Trump supporter has some distance they can go over, but there's not much. And the thing you got to remember about roads like this, especially on highways, when they build these things up, usually these highways, if they've been here for any measure of time, they're usually built up, the road is built up off. So sometimes there might be 6 inches to almost a foot and a half drop off on the other end. Meaning if that truck with its high center, if it goes off, it can cause a tilt, it can cause the back tire, one of the tires could blow out, cause a drag, could flip the truck around. You're talking, you could have very easily seen this truck go off the road, and there's no telling what else is over there. There could be, if they go off and happen to hit a rock about a 30-pound rock or something over there, that's going to probably jack the truck up, may snap an axle or something. You're talking this vehicle is going to get flipped end over end, the occupants inside. It'd be a major wreck, and this idiot here would the idiot in the SUV would just keep going. They wouldn't care at that point. It'd be a hit and run basically, or they would cause an accident. They wouldn't care. In this particular situation, I would say if it is the Trump supporter being aggressive, you have an option to get out. It's not your job to go attack him. Simply get the license plate number, hit record on your phone, and start recording, and then let them have the lane. Give video evidence of them being reckless, and then go to the police and then let the cops deal with it. Okay? If that's what's happening. I don't think that's what's happened. I think what's happened here is this guy has pulled up. We don't have the entire video, but from the looks of it, he pulled up, tried to intimidate the Trump supporter by entering into the lane and tried to push him off the road pretty much. Tried to, scare him off, and it didn't work. A Trump supporter finally said, nope, this is Texas and I'm a Texan, and just retaliated, which is pretty good. You're going to see, like I said, 1,500-pound vehicle versus 2-ton truck with four-wheel drive.
Shit, look at that.
And now, look where the Trump supporter is. Now, remember before when we were talking, this vehicle's left tire was over on the black part, was over in the really darkened part where you're not in the wear area. The wear area is the lighter tone of the road. This is now, he's over on the dark. You see how close over on the road he is now on the opposite side. He's really pushing over into the other lane and was not even in the other lane. At some point, he decided to occupy both lanes, and the other guy decides to push back. So from what I've heard, the FBI has investigated it. State police have looked into it, and they said they can't tell anything that the Trump supporter did anything wrong, meaning that the person in this vehicle is probably going to be the aggressor. Another thing also people don't realize, there's a myth that if you hit someone, if you rear end someone, you're automatically at fault, and that's not true. Me and my sister one time, we were driving through a city at one point, and she rear-ended somebody. Now, when the police showed up, they said, well, you're probably going to be at fault for rear-ending someone. And it happened to be at a stoplight with a camera. Well, when they redid the footage, the moment of impact, the person that my sister ran into was occupying 2 lanes at one time. This automatically negated her being responsible, because the lawyer stated, and it makes sense, that because the other person was occupying 2 lanes, they were at that point holding up 2 areas of the road, and because they just swapped over into 2 lanes, but they never fully encompassed over. They simply occupied the 2 lanes, and they stated there was a possibility that she thought she could get around, and because they occupied 2 of them, it didn't give her a place to go. If they had stayed in their lane or had moved over. Mind you, this woman jumped over into our lane for a solid 10 to 15 seconds and when my sister realized she was going to hit him, she hit the brakes. And they said that created enough of a problem. In other words, because they're occupying two lanes and only supposed to be occupying in one, they were in fact breaking the law because of that 7 or 10 to 7 seconds that they were in the lane with. Yes, and I knew my numbers backwards. Don't worry about it. But like I said, you got someone who occupied two lanes, picked a fight with a vehicle that's much bigger than they are, which has one, big knob tires. I'm amazed them things didn't really tear something up. Two, probably, I bet before this is over, the SUV driver here will get charged for reckless endangerment and attempted murder, because that's those two charges fall in there when you hit another vehicle. At the very least, attempted manslaughter. Attempted manslaughter is what you'll probably be getting here. And the Trump supporter will be hailed as a genuine Texan who held his ground and fought back even in a bad situation. Of course, I mean, I'm amazed because the Texas lead wasn't flying at one point, because technically this guy is also assaulting him with a vehicle. By the way, folks, tell me what you think in the comments. How do you feel about all this? Do you think the Trump supporter was in the right? Do you have any new information to add to this? I'd love to hear it. Anyway, be safe. Stay frosty. Oh, wait, before I give my spiel out, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell for notification if you're new to the channel. I always like to hear from you people. And as always, stay safe, stay frosty. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye now.